I'm going to be telling you how weighted calisthenics has changed my life. So, when I was first starting out with fitness, the first thing I did was calisthenics, but it was usually just some pull ups, some push ups, and a ton of abs. And as I did get really lean because of a caloric deficit, and I had a six pack because I trained only abs, I didn't have much muscle on like my chest, shoulders, back. I had a very lean, slender physique. But once I started throwing in weightlifting with weighted calisthenics, but weighted calisthenics being the priority, I started to really gain some serious size. And I've achieved some numbers that I'm very proud of on the key compound lifts, like the weighted ring dip. I've gotten up to some pretty heavy weight. I think the most I've done has been like 70, maybe even 80 pounds. I got some videos that I'm going to throw in and clip here. I've also done weighted pull-ups on the rings up to like 50, 60-ish pounds for reps. And that's something I'm very proud of. I can do all these all the time. So it's like I usually don't always go for the max. I usually go somewhere in the middle and stick to higher reps. But this has allowed me to really build a solid physique. And now I truly only have to hit like one or two exercises per workout. So I'll usually do one weighted calisthenics, whether it's for chest or back. It'll be like the weighted ring dip, or it'll be the weighted pull-up. And then I usually just supplement it, for example, with chest, with an incline dumbbell bench, or some sort of row. And that is all I need in order to maintain and build my physique, is two exercises with two working sets. And that's all I do for my main compound lifts for my upper body, as well as throwing in some like shoulder press, dumbbell shoulder press. I progressively overloaded that. I've gotten up to like 75, 78 pounds. I use kilos right now. I'm in Sweden, but that is like pretty strong for me. That's personal best I've ever done, is 78 for 8 reps. So these are the things that has allowed me to build the physique, but weighted calisthenics has been a core in this, being that it develops your body in so many other ways than weights will. So when you're doing those ring dips, you actually really need to be able to stabilize with the shoulder, the rotator cuff. You're even in your arms, like you're going to be using your tris, your bis, your forearms, your wrist. Everything is getting trained in order for you to do these reps. The same thing with pull-ups. It's a little bit easier, but it's still using a lot of the rotator cuff, a lot of those small muscles that are really going to allow you to build that functionality and have long-term success in the gym. See, the worst thing that you can do is make a ton of progress. Like, for example, say you did like some crazy bench press program where you made a ton of progress, but then you got injured and now you're set back a ton because you have to focus on recovery and doing all these things. And as I'm not saying that you can't get injured with anything, the more that you develop the small little muscles and you develop functionality and your mobility, the better off you're going to be long term. And exercises like the ring dips, the weighted pull-ups, and all that stuff are going to be perfect for developing these things and really allowing you to have that long-term success with fitness. I also believe that the lower volume approach, focusing on progressively overloading in the hypertrophic rep range of like 8 to 12, is what's going to allow you to build the most muscle and stay in the game the longest, not going for like 1 rep maxes. I never do those nowadays. I used to as a kid, and that used to be what got me injured, and I stay away from those now. I focus on just progressively overloading 8 to 12 reps. The easiest thing you can do is I pull up notes. I put like the exercise I'm doing, for example, weighted ring dips, and then I'll put a little checklist and I'll say, 30 pounds for 8. And then the next time I'll do 30 pounds for 9, or 35 for 8, and then 35 for 9. And you keep building it up, and however you want to do it, whatever rep range you want to go through, that's one of the easiest ways to get big. This is the things that I've done that's actually allowed me to progress a ton. Is I'll show you some of the screenshots. I'm going to clip them in here. This is going to be one of my only edited videos, so I'm hoping it's going to do well because I'm going to put a lot of time into it. I'm normally doing like the raw, authentic ones, but I want to show you some of the matching evidence to what I'm saying here. But this is how I've actually been able to really progressively overload and make this process so simple while doing less exercises and getting better results and better recovery, which is one of the things that a lot of people overlook, is like recovery. You don't need that much volume, and if you focus on actually trying to grow the muscle, staying in that area of like, imagine you were to come into the gym and you were to work out, say you start at 100 and you go all the way down to like 80 by doing shit ton of exercise and a shit ton of sets, versus the person who only goes down to 95 but then regrows to 105 versus the person who went to 80 only grows to 95. And then you're hitting your next workout starting here, going down to 75 and only getting back up to 90, whereas the other person is continually increasing their strength little by little, and they're going to go up and up. And as you might be gaining strength in some size, you're going to be constantly working in this range where you're always fighting to get back to baseline because you're doing so much volume and so many exercises that it's taxing on your muscles. They need to recover in order to grow and get stronger and bigger. So that's one of the biggest things that this has allowed me to do, is reduce the amount of volume based off the fact that I'm progressively overloading an exercise that's getting me really strong and really big. And then I'm also increasing my mobility, my health, working on the little muscles like the rotator cuff. And this is all what's led me to have long-term success in the gym, and why weighted calisthenics has changed my life and will change yours too. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. If this provided you with any value, please like and subscribe.